Hey everyone, it's Richard Payne here from Keller Williams Select Realty and the RPM Real Estate team, your team for everything to do with real estate, whether you're buying it, selling it, or multifamily investing it for the Halifax and surrounding area. And I wanted to look back on December 2016 as well as the year for December. Now, the interesting thing here is that we sold 249 properties in December. We have 2,200 still active at the end of December, and that puts us at 9 months inventory on the market. But here's the interesting thing. We sold 249, we listed a little bit less than that, so we actually had 104% sales to listings, which is great for this market because that shows us that we're basically what we listed, we sold the same amount of properties as well. So given that we've done that, and certainly our average price is $299,807, so more or less $300,000. Now, sale to list price, we're actually getting 96%, and that stayed fairly steady along the whole thing. So it's still firmly in that buyer's market that we have been for the whole of 16 and 15 and back into 14 as well. And let's keep our fingers crossed that we actually work into that and really start getting closer to that price, because 4% price change from a listing to an actual selling is a fairly large change depending on the size of the property that you're actually in. And we're certainly going to go into depth into a few of those particular areas as well as to what's going on. But like I said, the biggest thing that we've seen this year is the average price has stayed fairly steady at that 300,000 number. We've cropped over it a couple of times. Last month in particular, we were up at like 325, 330. So it shows that some of the higher priced properties have actually sold and pulled that overall average up. But that's a good thing that we're staying so close on the average price. Now, days on market, we were 104 days on market in December. So of everything that sold, it took us 104 days from when we actually listed it to when we actually got it firm and under contract, and what we would call sold. So people didn't get the keys necessarily, but the contract was firm and binding. So when we look into some of the other areas, again, we look at some of the bigger ones like Timberley, St Margaret's Bay, Bedford, and Fairmount, Clayton Park, Rockingham. Those are the three areas. Now, Fairmount, Clayton Park, Rockingham is an area that's kind of a little bit below Bedford, a little bit above Halifax, and a strip around there. And it's surprising that they actually came in at number 3 sales. But we go back to Bedford, very strong. Average price point there, $397,000. 10 months of inventory on the market though, so still quite a lot of inventory. Same thing for Timberley and St Margaret's Bay area, that upper Tantallon area. That whole area there is the same, 10.7 months on market, $279,000, so a little bit cheaper in terms of price point compared to Bedford, which, as we know, we've been talking about Cascades Park and Waterbury to make sure that that area just on the other side of Larry Utek is really very strong in terms of the price points there and the average prices, and still selling there. But then we look at Fairmount, Clayton Park and Rockingham coming up with a fairly high average price, like $410,000. Now, Fairmount in particular has got some fairly good priced properties in there, ranging up to like the $700,000-$800,000 mark, in a very exclusive area just off the Armdale Rotary. So very close to the Halifax Peninsula. So it can drive up the high price point. And what we've seen is those have been selling compared to the Clayton Park, which can be in the mid-3 numbers and everything. But again, 7.3 months of inventory on the market there, so a little bit lower, getting close to a balanced market. But when we look at everything showing at 9.5 months of inventory, still a very strong market. So those are the 3 areas that are hot. Again, Bedford, Timberley, and Fairmount, Clayton Park, Rockingham area. So still very standard in terms of what we're looking at there. But the big thing that we're starting to see now is that the prices are starting to get a lot more accurate, and we're starting to see the same sales as what we're listing, which is a good thing. But we're in January, spring market's going to come, and we're going to see that little influx of activity where a lot more properties are going to come onto the market, because fall and spring are certainly our 2 big listing times of areas and when we start selling a lot. So that's what's really coming up. Now we'll have some more graphs and everything where we can look into more detail of December, but that's really what's going on for December 2016. 2017 has started, so let's go and get at it.